what happens when the meaning of a word doesn't just drift, but completely flips on its head?
Now this is where it gets really fun. These are the real aha moments. Let's start with a big one. Awful.
Te, it means terrible, dreadful. End of story.
But originally, in Old English, its literal definition was full of awe.
Inspiring, reverent, even divine.
It's a complete 180-degree turn, and you have to ask why. Why did inspiring reverence become terrible?
What's the thinking there?
Well, it suggests that as a culture, maybe we shifted. The experience of overwhelming awe, something almost religious, went from being a positive thing to being, well, frightening, uncontrollable.
So the sheer power of the emotion became linked with fear instead of reverence. Wow.
Exactly. It tells you something about the psychology of a culture, and the word silly has a similar reversal.
Okay, I use that word all the time.
It comes from an Old English word, sleilig, which meant blessed, happy, or lucky, basically innocent.
Bless it. So how do we get from blessed to foolish?
It's a common path. The meaning slid from innocent to pitiable or weak, and then it just kept sliding until it landed on lacking sense.
So innocence became associated with ignorance.
It happens a lot. And here's another one that's even more surprising. Nice.
Okay, nice means pleasant, kind, agreeable,
Today, yes. But it came from the Latin natius.
which means,
Ignorant.
no way, ignorant.
I'm serious. It meant ignorant or unaware. In Middle English, it evolved to mean foolish, then shy, and eventually it softened into the, kind of blandly positive word we have today.
That's amazing. Let's shift to words about basic survival. What about meat?
Right. Today, it's just animal flesh. But in Old English, meat meant any kind of food. General sustenance.
So the phrase meat and drink in old texts just means food and drink.
That's all it means. It tells you that just getting any food was so important that you didn't need to specify what kind it was. The distinction wasn't the point.
And the word girl has a similar story of changing specificity.
It does. In Middle English, girl could refer to any young child.
Boy or girl.
Boy or girl. The language just hadn't specialized yet to have two distinct common terms.
Okay, these next two give us a real window into, pre-modern economics. Let's start with salary.
One of my absolute favorites. Salary comes from the Latin salarium,
Which means
money given to buy salt.
to buy salt.
Salt was so vital for preserving food, for health, that Roman soldiers were sometimes paid with an allowance specifically for it.
I'm never going to look at my paycheck the same way again. Salt was literally a currency.
It basically was. And another one is kindergarten. That gives you a look into 19th century German philosophy.
It's German, right?
Yes. It translates literally to children's garden.
That's a beautiful cause.
Isn't it? The idea was that young minds should be nurtured like plants in a garden, a supportive environment. It was a very revolutionary idea compared to the rigid schools of the time.
So we've seen sounds change and meanings change. Now let's talk about geography. Words don't stay home, do they? They travel.
They absolutely travel, and English is famously a massive borrower of words.
From everywhere.
Pretty much everywhere. French, Latin, Greek, Arabic, Dutch, the list goes on. Language migration just follows human migration and trade.
Let's trace a couple of those journeys. What about coffee? It feels so English.
But its roots are not European at all. The word traveled with the bean. It goes back to the Arabic word kawa,
Kwawa.
which then moved into Turkish as kave as it spread through the Ottoman Empire. From there, Dutch and Italian traders picked it up, and eventually it landed in English. The word itself is a map of global trade.
And sugar has an even longer journey.
It does. That one starts all the way back in Sanskrit, Charkara.
From